If you're finding it very difficult to look for an ideal university for your Global Korea Scholarship Program undergraduate studies application, this video is perfect for you. Hello, this is Justin, and part of our HAJA episodes is actually sharing more information about the scholarship program, finding ways for you to identify the correct track, and obviously being able to decide on your own which university you should submit your documents to and which university you should select for your Global Career Scholarship Program application. And although there are differences between the university and embassy track, since embassy 3 universities and university track only 1, this trick that I'm going to share with you, this trick and tip that I'm going to share with you will still be applicable regardless of the track. So when I was applying for the Global Career Scholarship Program, I first looked and searched the Global Career Scholarship forms for me to be able to identify how many required documents, how many required universities are there for me allowed that I can choose from. So it's very important for you to research the Global Korea Scholarship website, the studyinkorea.go.kr. That's very important. And why is it very important? First, the university information explains so many things about the scholarship and about the universities. During those, like in 2020, they would even indicate the guidelines, the timeline, and if they have additional documents required, which is very important. For example, for Hanning University, the university required me to submit 2 sets of documents, which is unusual for university track because as mentioned, university track you're about to select only one university and then you just have to submit 1 set of documents. But in case I did not read the instruction in the GKS Hanyang University information, I will not be able to get the scholarship because I will not be able to submit the required number of documents, which is 2 sets. So that's why the first step for choosing a university, be it embassy or university track, is to open the studyinkorea.go.kr, check the last year's list of universities, and then individually assess where you want to be. So there might be a lot of universities there. So the thing that you have to be considering is that before you browse these universities, do your research. Do a quick Google search, top universities in South Korea for this major, or check the rankings. Those things could be helpful. Or if you have specific interactions with these universities previously, for example, you attended a conference, you were able to meet the professor, personally a student from that university, that could be the trick. Again, what's important is you will do your research. I don't want you asking me for recommendations if this university is good, this university is good, because I will just be saying, yes, those universities are good. Because first things first, I expect that you did the research. You should not be expecting that I'll be sharing like specific information about per university, because considering the number of universities in South Korea, that's beyond impossible. And again, it is really a personal choice. I can recommend SNU, Yonsei, Korea University because they're the top universities. But do you think your credentials will be able to match with what they are requiring? So that's another thing. So when you look for universities, always make sure to assess your credentials based on what's the possible requirement for that university. So after checking the GKS guidelines specifically for the universities, I would highly suggest, if you're able to filter down at least 5 universities that you're trying to see, go to their websites now. Go to the website, check if they have English programs, what are their cultural activities, who are the professors, what are the key majors being taught in this university. That's the most important. I mean, it should align with what you want. For example, you want to study business, but an English taught MBA and an English taught business program but the university does not offer that. So even if you want that university, but they don't have that specific degree, it's a mismatch unless you're willing to compromise. So that's another thing. And then make sure, although I really don't want to suggest doing this, make sure to choose an English track. Although, like, probably there are less than 3 courses that are in English track. For GKS, especially undergraduate studies, they would likely require you, not necessarily require, but in terms of the university choices, you have limited number of English taught classes. So majority of them are 80%, 90% Korean taught. You'll be discussing and attending classes with Koreans, and then 10% would just be probably some minor classes that will be taught in English. But expect this. If you go to South Korea to study undergraduate, you will be exposed to Korean taught classes. So for those asking, Justin, do I need to be fluent in Korean to apply for the scholarship program? No, but you need to get high level of understanding before you start your program itself. So the 1 year training program for Korean language, you have to do your best to get that specific level of fluency, because again, 90% of your classes will be taught in Korean. You will be competing with Koreans in their class. You're already disadvantaged because you're not Korean, but again, that's how it is, especially for undergraduate studies. So this last trick is for you to email the university of your choice or your prospects, just to find out if you have questions, if they'll be able to respond. But I highly suggest, if you really want to get information from these universities, try emailing them in Korean. Because in the end of the day, even if you're messaging the International Affairs Office, they won't really reply if you speak in English. It's convenient for them if you'll be emailing them in Korean. I mean, ChatGPT is there, Gemini is there, some of the LLMs are there. Use them when emailing these universities. And that's the thing. Even if you want to enforce that you cannot speak Korean and you speak English fluently, these universities don't. So don't expect that they'll be able to respond to you immediately, especially if you email them in Korean, in English. Even if you email them in Korean, actually, it's not the same thing, especially if it's not admission season. So, but if it is admission season, they might be able to get responses immediately. But again, that's the last option. Trying to get more information to how they respond through emails, the information they share through emails. If they are very they promptly reply, it takes a month for them to reply. I mean, that reflects about the culture in that university. And I don't want you choosing a university that you would eventually regret, because especially if you got selected for the scholarship program, you cannot change it. You may be able to change the course, but you will not be allowed to change your school unless that school closes or burns down. But like, those are the force majeure. But like, again, that rarely happened here in South Korea. So there. If you have more questions about the Global Career Scholarship Program, if you have other ideas that you want me to talk about, probably share more information about, you may write them in the comment section. Again, I have a paid subscription program available in my bio if you want one-on-one coaching, especially assistance for your essay writing, tips for effective interview process, and then all things about Global Career Scholarship Program. But till then,